Everybody, this is Talking Wrestling, or whatever Keenan calls his end of the show. Obviously, we talk about wrestling, and a lot of stuff's happening. We have a guest today, so we have a guest, and Matt.
What's
As soon
going
as
on? What's going on?
yeah, so everybody knows who I am. Everybody knows who Keenan is. So why don't you introduce who you are, Matt, before we get into
Uh,
recapping WrestleMania and everything else that went wrong in
my
life?
name is my name is Matt Knowles. I'm one half of Symmetry Creations, comic writers, content creators, metal musician, but I also am a huge wrestling fan. Just did Spookala Festival a couple weeks ago. Got to spend some time with Shotzi and Scarlett and Karrion Cross as well. So yeah, right before WrestleMania, that was nice to be able to get a chance to hang with those guys before the big card went down.
Can I just say something real quick? I need a better intro than that, Mecca. That was shit. Are you the new WWE announcer? Am I John Cena? You should have more respect for me than that, bro. I'm just fucking with you, Mecca. How you doing tonight? It's nice to meet you. Have I met you before? I can't see too well because my computer's messed up and we're doing this off my phone. So
It's all good. I'm right here. How about this? I get really close. What's up, man?
I said, dude, you know how small this stupid square is? And I'm like, y'all are the smallest things I've ever seen in my life, man. Like, I've seen ants bigger than y'all two right now. So I'm just guessing that you're a handsome gentleman and that we're going to talk some fucked up wrestling stuff.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. That's right, man. We definitely a lot to talk about in the last week or two that has happened in the world of wrestling.
So I'll just start. How do you guys rate WrestleMania Night 1? How do you rate WrestleMania Night 2? Before we get into the particulars, because I think that's the best place to start with all this.
Night 1 with the ending of Night 1 was great. That's what should have ended. I mean, the Cody Rhodes bitching out was not a good ending for Night 2. So Night 1 should have been the right ending. That three-way was and I don't even really like three-ways. They usually kind of suck and stuff, but these guys weren't laying down the entire time. They fought through the stadium, and they weren't like walking and bullshit fighting. They looked like they did a really good job. And I am one of those pieces of crap that just wants to tear everything to shreds and talk crap about it. But I thought Night 1 was pretty good.
I felt like WWE did themselves a disservice by having such a good Saturday, starting with Stand and Deliver. There were 3 matches during Stand and Deliver, NXT's part of the pay-per-view, that when that got done, I was like, man, I don't know what they're going to do for the WrestleMania card, because the women's ladder match, then you had the 4-way, and then you had the triple threat. Every one of those matches at NXT Stand and Deliver was really good. So I was like, man, it's going to be tough for Night 1. Night 1 was a little bit off, but Night 1 was still good. But then Night 2 just felt like, especially compared to last year, where last year you had so many things that happened at the end, so many run-ins and all this. You get to the end of Night 2, and I'm just like, man, that was boring, anticlimactic.
I agree with WrestleMania 40 was unique in the sense that Night 1 determined Night 2. So WrestleMania 40 was a weird one because in most situations you would not have Night 1 affecting Night 2. But in WrestleMania 40, that was the setup because you had Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, and it determined what type of match you were going to have at WrestleMania 40. So obviously you had a vested interest in Night 1 because the end of Night 1 determined the end of Night 2. In this case, you could have watched either one of these things, and they could have been legitimately 6 months apart, and there would have been no connection to either of the nights. But I mean, am I wrong on that, right?
No, if it was 6 months down the road, the Cena Rhodes match would have been even better. Him being such a bitch wouldn't have been so bad. Like, that was a terrible ending for the ending the show or finishing the story. That was a bad ending. Like, oh, I'm not gonna hit you. Who the fuck cares about bald-headed John Cena? Knock that dude out and keep on like it.
So,
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I have a very different opinion on this whole thing. I think it was great. I think they did the exact antithesis of what WrestleMania 40 was. I think they did the exact opposite for WrestleMania 41, but they had us all hooked.
I can't understand you with John Cena's mouth in your mouth, dude. If you take a second,
it's fine. You can say that. That's fine. But I really think what they did is that they gave us enough as fans to be like, we are now all talking about it, and we're all like, what did we just do? And I think people feel like it was an underwhelming card. There was something was off about the card. But at the same time, this has been the most talked about WrestleMania of all time. And it's the most, I think, controversial to some degrees, because we're all like, we can't all pinpoint why we have an issue with it. Because I've spoken to a lot of people and they're like, something's off. And even I said last week, right, Keenan, that something is off about this card, but I can't tell you what it is.
Well, I can tell you what I thought was off about the card, because I said it a lot in the lead up, was it felt like when you had everything going on with the bloodline, that the different iterations, or Roman and Brock Lesnar, it felt like there were truly stakes that were, there were stakes, or there was stuff at hand that no matter what the result was going to be, there was going to be a different WWE at the end of the WrestleMania card based on what was happening there. If you look at this WrestleMania card, there wasn't even a bloodline member even in the WrestleMania card on Sunday. And it just felt like there wasn't anything that was like, what's the fallout going to be and how is everything going to change? I mean, I think everybody predicted that heel Cena was going to win that match, which he needed to. So that way, you could have a fun run with him to see who's going to be the guy to take the belt off him at the end of his run. But I mean, really, other than that, there was no stakes. There was no stakes that made WrestleMania feel special. It's not like Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber where you've got these big gimmick matches where stuff is building. WrestleMania just kind of fell flat because here we are.
And we had to wait for it everybody was pissed off waiting for it for a very long time. Like, I enjoy 420 as much as the next guy, but nobody wanted to wait until 420 Easter Sunday to watch WrestleMania.
It was also the fact that it was Easter Sunday. I'll be honest. Like, Saturday felt better to watch wrestling. And then it's Easter Sunday. Like, I mean, earlier on, I was with family. And it's kind of like, do I really want to watch WrestleMania at 7 o'clock now? I kind of want to, like, go to sleep. I mean, it's a weird position, but I mean, the only thing that made sense in this old card was Cena going over and winning, going over dirty too, which I thought was necessary. I like the Travis Scott stuff. I like that because I like the fact that no, I liked it because I like the fact that he did it right. I like the low blow. I like the belt because I liked seeing him go over dirty, which I thought was a nice little touch. Because if he went over clean, we've seen that plenty of times. We're seeing as taking, the Superman approach out of a match. And it's nice to see him take the cheap way out and the cheapest way out. And I liked it. And I thought it was fun.
I would have been fine with him taking the cheapest way out. It's just Cody doing the whole like, oh, I can't do it, bitch. Like, what do you like? Like your dad was Dusty Rhodes. You cannot smack this guy in the face with a goddamn championship. That's the only thing that I was upset about. He could win as dirty as he could have taken that belt and whipped the crap out of the man. I would have been fine with it. But just that weak ass finish that was my problem with it.
Well, I think too that we've seen the last two WrestleMania seasons, and I really hope it doesn't happen next year, is I feel like The Rock involved himself too much beforehand, tried to force his way into the main event last year, and the fans completely revolted. And then this year, The Rock acted like a fool, and it's been very well documented when they had the first Raw on Netflix. And then when he went to NXT, it was like, I don't even have a script. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I'm just going to go out here and freestyle. And then he's a part of this huge storyline with John Cena, and then he's gone. He's not even a part of WrestleMania 41. And I'm like, it just felt like you expected, if The Rock was going to be involved, he needed to be there. They needed to have more than just Travis Scott, who everybody hates, including me. I mean, I don't mind Cena going over in a dirty way, but just with Travis Scott, who nobody gives a crap about in wrestling, to be that guy just didn't feel like it was enough.
I mean, we all know the reason why Travis Scott was involved, right? I mean, we know the business reasons why, right?
Because he's had sex with a Kardashian.
It's more than that. WWE has a very lucrative deal with Fanatics, and Travis Scott has a very lucrative deal with Fanatics, and he's very much a spokesperson for that company. And WWE's relationship with Fanatics is only getting bigger, and WWE is purposely positioning themselves. So if we look at the whole card stuff and merch and other stuff, that's all part of it, right? And whether that's supposed to be spoken about or not, I mean, that's the real reason why Travis Scott was there.
I mean, if he's a part of Cina's entourage, I could roll with that. But if him just being this one guy to help take down Cody, he just didn't feel like there was enough there to be the big crescendo of the season.
I get that part, but again, I understand it from a business position because I had a conversation with Kazarian a while ago. He was explaining why NASCAR was involved with TNA/Impact back in the day because it was for business purposes and it was helpful for that company. So unfortunately, we don't live in a small environment where WWE is a big corporation and you need certain things in there. And Travis Scott is cheap. And then you get that pop, and then you got the relationship with everything else that I mentioned. But that's like my viewpoint on it. So that's why I got it, what they were doing. Because it's going to benefit them in the long run on a business level. Whether it's good for story or not, that's a whole different discussion.
But see, Mecca, you always bring up what's good for business. I think what we're here.
I'm a member of the authority. What can I say?
No, hold on. But we're here to talk about what's good for storyline. What's good for? I could give a shit about their business. They're making $5 billion. They're good. I could care less about the business. What I care about is the storyline. And Travis Scott is just a guy that I would love to punch in the stomach. And I get his comeuppance, but that big shot. I mean, I don't know. I kind of agree with. I mean, he's just like the biggest punk ass kid I've ever seen in my life. I feel like, and I mean, that's I apologize.
That's fine. That's fine.
I will say there were some moments that I thought were really good. I definitely feel like, I feel like Dom winning over Finn Balor was a great way to keep that storyline fresh. Absolutely loved freaking Joe Hendry being able to come out there and get the pop that he did, and then be able to find a way to turn it around on Tuesday night on NXT, to be like, yeah, I got squashed at WrestleMania, but at least I was on the card.
Right.
So I thought the Joe Hendry being on the card was great. There was a lot of stuff that was good, that was fun, but it's definitely, I say this, the biggest problem that WWE has right now is they're trying to make every Raw feel like a pay-per-view. Look at all the celebs in attendance at Raw. Henceforth, it's making the pay-per-views feel like souped-up Raws if it's not Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber. And I think that WrestleMania was the first card where we got to see a card that wasn't that much different than a Raw card other than the giant stage that was built.
Did you also feel that? So I'll give you an example. Backlash to me is going to be a souped up Raw. That's how it should play out, right? WrestleMania should not play out like a souped out Raw.
No, not at all.
I thought was going to play out like a souped up Raw, and theoretically it should have. In theory, Elimination Chamber was a fluke in many ways, and I hope it's not that way moving forward. I hope it's a bigger event, but I'm expecting Money in the Bank to not be a fluke, right, and not be a souped out Raw. Or a super SmackDown or whatever we're going to call it, right? But if we do like the Great American Bash or Night of Champions, that to me, those aren't important pay-per-views. This is one of the big four or one of the big five. It should feel like that, and that's the issue. But again, I appreciated what they did because I was intrigued on what the hell was going to happen because I knew it was somewhat mundane, but I'm like, what twist is going to be thrown into this? And I was intrigued the whole thing, and I was curious because I'm like, this seems a little too obvious what's going to happen. And that's how I approached it. And maybe I took a different approach on this, but that's how I viewed the whole WrestleMania situation. I'm like,
real quick, are we all as older fans getting caught up in what wrestling used to be and how pay-per-views are what we're building towards? How, we're trying to get people in the house shows, all this, whatever it is, but the game's kind of changed. I don't think any of it really matters anymore. Like with Peacock and Netflix and everything, you can watch anytime you want to. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I I think they're on the way, the way out of getting rid of house shows.
Does it? I mean, I'll throw something else out there, and I'm curious what you two think. There's also a lot of independent wrestling at this point. You got GCW, you got Ring of Honor, you got AEW, you got a bunch of top independent companies. You got New Japan. You got companies down in Mexico that are pretty big. I don't know, because when I speak to people on the indies, they're like, I didn't watch WrestleMania. I'm watching everything on Fight TV, and there are 11 pay-per-views, and there are 11 shows for $50 that you could pay for. And I know people who haven't watched WrestleMania, and they're just watching the indies because they're like, well, there's better stories and there's better wrestling. And I would rather watch, a GCW show, a bunch of people are saying, and watch people like Nick Gage and, John Moxley and Effie and all these top guys, and Joey Janela do some crazy shit. I mean, Joey Janela does Spring Break every year, and it's always a good show. So I don't even know if, because the people who are watching independent wrestling are now not watching WWE in many regards.
Again, I think we're living in an age where it doesn't even matter. I mean, they're streaming and it's strong. I mean, it doesn't even matter. It's Netflix and we don't know what those numbers are anymore. They don't tell us there's 5 million people watching right now, dude. They don't care. They're getting paid no matter. For the next 5 years, WWE is taken care of. All we got to do is keep up with the storylines. That's all they have to do. That's all probably Triple H is worried about. All we got to do is get a good story going. I don't know. I just think that sometimes we get caught. And WWE just the ID. They just got AAA in Mexico and stuff.
Yes.
I think they're almost monopolizing a real world. And it's not. I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, they're trying to diversify. We're putting our hands in everything, everywhere. Not only are we going to be the biggest company, we're going to support the minor leagues. Just the White Sox has a minor league team. WWE is going to have 19 of them.
I have friends who have WWE IDs, and I've interviewed them when they were just wrestling for $10 on the indies. So, it's so interesting. It's so interesting, and it's crazy.
Well, I think too, if you look at where WWE is right now, to add on to your point, you go back a few years, and all you had was Raw and SmackDown, and NXT was. You had to go onto the WWE network to go see it. Now, NXT is legitimately it's its own third brand. To me, NXT is the best paced major show that's on TV right now, better than Raw, SmackDown, AEW, anything they put out. The pacing of an NXT show is the best show right now, other than Booker T on the mic. Can't stand Booker T on the mic because he's too involved, but that's a whole separate thing. Then you've got WWE, Evolve? That basically has taken the place of what NXT used to be. So developmental is now Evolve. Then you've got WWE's deal with TNA, where there's the talent exchange there. You're going to have the talent exchange, like you said, with AAA, which is going to be incredible. They're doing AAA NXT branded pay-per-views now. So there is tons of wrestling out there. I agree. We don't need to have the big things, but like we were saying, I feel like the big pay-per-views need to be the gimmick ones. Royal Rumble to me honestly feels like the big show of the year because it's such a crazy one-of-a-kind show that you don't get anywhere else. Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank, you get different things. War Games.
Spread it out.
You get those things differently. So when you have a WrestleMania that doesn't have any of that stuff, and you have a WrestleMania coming off of a month of WWE being in Europe and having all the insane crowds singing songs to everybody like it's the most amazing thing known to man, coming back to the U.S. WrestleMania with no gimmicks made it where they were really having to have amazing things happen, and they didn't have as many as they needed.
Mecca disagrees with me, but in my opinion, but he does disagree with me, so I'm giving him some credit because he fucking disagreeing, that's motherfucker. But now I gotta take a shot. That's the word of the day. I digress. I was about to say his position, take 2 shots earlier, dude. But I really what if they don't have I don't need to see a women's Royal Rumble and a men's Royal Rumble right there at the same time. What if we spread them out a little bit? What if the women's Royal Rumble happens like at Survivor. I don't need to see 2 War Games and 2. There's not enough women to get all that done all the time.
I agree with you though. So I want to clarify the point. I think we need a men and women's Royal Rumble match, right? I don't know if we need a men and women's Elimination Chamber match on the same card. I don't have a problem. I would rather have an Elimination Chamber match at Hell in a Cell with the women, or maybe not Hell in a Cell, but somewhere else, right? Or the men for that matter. I personally don't care where we put it, right? Because sometimes you don't need. Because again, I want the gimmick match, but I want the gimmick match to end the show and be that special thing. But I think we need 2 Money in the Bank matches. I really do, because that's the name of the pay-per-view. And it makes sense to do them both at the same time, because now you get to cash it in. And I don't know how else you do that elsewhere. And so that's my whole theory about the Royal Rumble. But I agree with Keenan on the idea with like Elimination Chamber or War Games or Survivor Series. Instead of we could have a men's War Games match, but I would rather have a traditional Survivor Series match with the women. Also, because I miss those matches. Those matches are fun where it's a 5-on-5 elimination. But no cage. That's what I would like to say, because I think that would be cool. And you still get wrestling, and it could be a great match, but
and you can mix it up. Like you said, they have Survivor Series. That doesn't all have to happen at Thanksgiving time. Like Survivor Series and War Games can happen. Like it's a whole new world. It's like fucking Aladdin and Princess Jasmine. It's a whole new world. We just have to put it all quit worrying about that shit.
Maybe we should just bring back 6 Sides of Steel for all we care.
So what was your favorite part of the WrestleMania weekend, from the start of NXT Stand and Deliver to the end of night 2? What was your favorite favorite thing you thought they did right?
Can I go first?
I love that. That was great. That was great. It was great because it was everything it was supposed to be, and it was awesome. And it was just so nice to just see like LA Knight just get destroyed and give like this Samoan who looks like a monster and like who can kill people, like actually have a belt. That makes him look legit.
And I was really surprised. I'm not a fan of 3-ways or 4-ways. I don't like the line on the unless they're like people like go to sleep sometimes in those matches. They did almost all of those matches that were 3-ways or 4-ways. It seemed like it was an orgy thing going on, but I really actually kind of enjoyed them all. Like the Rhea Ripley, and that was a good match too. That was Rhea Ripley, EOS, even though she does I don't know why she takes 2 dicks to the face like in front of everybody. I'm not for sure why that's like the kabuki. Like it's a kabuki thing. She's like, why do you do that? That's like playing into the stereotype, I think, man. But no, I did a good job.
I definitely like seeing Paul Heyman leave with Seth. I felt like that with the double cross there was great. My favorite thing of the weekend was Sol Ruka hitting the Soul Snatcher off the ladder on NXT Stand and Deliver. That was especially for it being something in the third show, the third brand, basically, to have probably the most ridiculous move of the weekend hit there was pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Looking forward to seeing her called up to the main roster.
I'll be honest, my favorite moment, and it didn't actually happen on WrestleMania, and I thought it was really interesting, was the whole Pat McAfee and Gunther and Michael Cole incident that happened on that Monday Night Raw. And then Michael goes backstage and says, I'm not going to let a bully, intimidate me from doing my job. And then Michael Cole walks right down to do commentary. I thought that was a cool thing. I thought it was cool because I like when commentators get involved in story. And I think it's really cool because now we have Pat McAfee and the Gunther and Michael Cole situation going on.
Okay, but they say that Pat McAfee and Gunther is being set up. That's a way for Gunther to get like his mojo back from getting his ass kicked. That is just the worst premise. It's like defeating Logan Paul or fucking Bad Bunny. Like, are you gonna feel good about yourself now, Gunther? Okay. Good for you, bro. I'm glad you got that win, man. I guess let's go on to the next one. I don't know. I like the Michael Cole saying I'm not gonna be bullied. I like Pat McAfee taking it, which is again I'm being very like my bad. I'm erotic tonight with the wrestling thing. My bad. But I like all that. I just don't like the fact that I've heard that they're trying to build towards some stupid match and like, okay, no, we're just not gonna get pushed around by your bitch ass. Yeah, I know what I look like. I know what I am. This is just some loser Indiana Colts guy. We're good, but you're not going to push us around, bro. I like that part, but I don't like the part of like, no, we need to fight. Let's go. Like, and how many, like Pat McAfee was about to die from a sleeper hole? Like, they literally took him off the air.
No. I get all that, okay? I've suspended belief at this point because it's real to me. But I like the Michael Cole bit because I thought that was really interesting, and I appreciated them adding an element of realness to this. And I like the whole way the segment was set up. Because I like that, because we talk about stakes, I like that there's some real feel to this now. Because I believe every word that Michael Cole was saying. I really believe.
Pat McAfee was dragged off. He could have sit there right there with Michael Cole, kind of choking the entire coffin and be like, I'm not going to let that motherfucker push me. No, Michael, you're right, Michael. No. That's tougher than like being carted off by your tough ass fat crew or whatever it is. I don't know what's going on. But that was my only problem with like they made it like, okay, yeah, you did get choked out. I don't know if you ever had a sleeper hold or like triangle choke. Like, yeah, it does hurt. You can't get messed up, but you're like for the most part, you're gonna fall asleep.
Oddly enough, Pat McAfee was fine the next day to talk on his talk show. So I don't know how injured he was.
Miraculous recovery. I will say, you brought it up earlier, Andrew. To me, I think the biggest thing happened before WrestleMania even started, which was them having the announcement of buying AAA and having freaking Vikingo on the stage with them. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was telling my daughter, I'm like, I'm going to show you some highlights of this dude. He does some of the most insane luchador stuff that I've ever seen. And I'm like, knowing he's going to be in a WWE ring alongside of some of the other talent that's there, I'm like, we're going to see some of the best lucha libre action that the WWE has ever seen with that guy in the fold.
And what's good, like the lucha libres, they do moves that you'd be like, oh, there's no way, but they do it so fast that you don't notice that they're sitting there waiting to catch them. You know what I mean? That's my biggest part. I don't want to see you bending out for 20 minutes waiting for the guy to run over to you, and then I want to suspend disbelief just like Mecca, but I don't want to see somebody sitting out there for 20 minutes. I'll catch you, sir. Now I'll fall down for. I think AAA is going to be a really good way to, especially like hopefully like the LWO, Ray Phoenix and Penta, like those some people that are really they don't stick out like a sore thumb in WWE, but they don't really go with what's going on in WWE.
Also, though, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, and I hate to go behind the scenes a little bit, but WWE has the best producers they've ever had in the wrestling business. I mean, you got Tyson Kidd, who was from American Alpha, who was injured, who was Chad Gable's partner. I can't leave his name off the top of my head. He was like Kurt Angle was managing him for a while. You know who I'm talking about?
Talking about Jason Jordan.
Yeah. Isn't he like one of the head producers now?
Yes.
And he's got such a brilliant wrestling mind too, and that's why WWE is so good now. I feel, as well as that they have really good producers. They also have really good general managers or managers on character. You know, Nick Aldis, Adam Pearce. I mean, Adam Pearce is so good at what Adam Pearce just knows in wrestling. And then you got Paul Heyman, who's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. What you see on screen with Paul Heyman is not what you see behind. Paul Heyman is part of the reason why WWE 2K exists.
I think they are overdoing bringing security out, and I think that's being overdone a little bit. I mean, I like it sometimes you need when you can't pull two apart, but again, it's wrestling. Like sometimes people fight and he's gonna get knocked out. Like I don't need to see 25 referees and 10 security guards trying to become wrestlers come out there and see them take a bunch of bumps that we know that they're taking the bumps to try to get, earn their stripes or whatever. That'd be my only thing. I like the shorter ramps. I like everything that's going on for the most part. I like the old school approach to everything.
So what do you guys think about Karrion Kross being lightly involved and then him doing his pipe bomb promo? And then do you think they're finally going to get back to some Killer Kross stuff now?
I enjoyed Killer Kross and Impact. I really did enjoy him in Impact. And I enjoyed what they were doing with him. But I wanted to be like an agent of chaos. Like that's what he has to be. He has to be like evil, chaos, and like I like the fact that he's trying to corrupt AJ Styles, and I like that. I like that, and I just want to let him go and be like the agent of chaos and be darkness and be destructive and be a little twisted. That's what he's good at. So I hope they let him go and they let him do what he wants, because I think it'll be fun to see what he can do.
I'm so over AJ Styles. It's not even funny. He's like that fucking All-American All-Star at your high school that just pisses you off every time he does. Like, dude, okay, calm the fuck down. We're good. Like, I'd rather see, Karrion Kross kind of go. I like to see him get away from AJ Styles. Like, I'm really just kind of over AJ Styles. I mean, how are you gonna be that old and that damn pretty? Like, I mean, I'm younger than you and I look like I'm about to die. Like, what the hell?
Did you guys listen to his pipe bomb promo that he cut?
I did.
His pipe bomb promo was really good, and he said a lot of stuff that was real. It's obviously a work, but still, he was able to say things like, I mean, look at how dominant he was in NXT. And then Vince brings him up and puts him in that gladiator outfit, takes Scarlett away, and absolutely kills his push. And I really think until right now that this is probably the first chance he's had to really, truly be a monster that is real. It doesn't feel contrived. It doesn't feel like they're trying too hard with him.
He was a monster in Impact. So you got Brian Cage, where's Johnny Impact, who's Johnny Nitro, who's John Morrison. And John Morrison essentially hires Karrion Kross to basically take out Brian Cage. And Karrion Kross was happy to do it with Scarlett. And it was great, because it's like, you're like, this was the Johnny Impact heel turn in Impact. This was like 5 years ago. But it was great, because this is what this looks like now, is he's finally going back to that and being this like merc for hire is the vibe I get. And I love it. But I think it's really interesting, because now we're finally getting wrestlers, because he's not the only wrestler who's felt like this. Dean Ambrose said the day he knew he had to leave Jon Moxley was when Vince made him cut a really stupid promo that ruined all of his credibility.
Well, I can tell you, one of the things about Karrion Kross that I really like is he's believable. And I'll tell you a quick little story that I think you get a kick out of. We're at the Spookalla Festival. I'm about to go on stage with Shotzi and Scarlett talking about their Ghost Hunter show. Don't know exactly what's going to happen with the panel. Shotzi's there. Scarlett shows up late. And I guess she was in traffic and got frazzled. And Shotzi's like, yeah, Scarlett's on the way. She's frazzled and all that. So her and Kross walk in. Never met Kross before in my life. Walk up to him like, hey, my name is Matt. I'm the panel host. I'm like, don't worry. Scarlett's going to be with me. And, she has nothing to worry about being up on the stage in front of me. And there's like 1,000, 2,000 people out there in the audience. So it's a pretty big crowd for what this is. And I said, I know what the stakes are if anything was to happen. And he looks at me and he goes, I'll kill you. And to anybody in the room that didn't know he was a wrestler, they would have been like, dude, this guy just threatened Matt's life. And I'm like, that's exactly right. You'll kill me. And I know those stakes. So your wife is in good hands. But then the girls were like, we were ready to walk out. They're like, Kross, you want to be on the panel with us? Sure. He comes out there. That dude was 100% the comic relief to Scarlett and Shotzi, who are all about finding ghosts and finding supernatural stuff. And he's like, they just take me along. And man, I'm not down with that stuff. And like, you could see him kind of like wincing and just being the comic. So that guy he really knows how to sell. Great dude. Can't wait to see him actually get over again for the first time since NXT.
Back in the day, what I would do every Friday night when I was in DC is Impact was on Twitch. Twitch is free. And so it comes on 10 o'clock after SmackDown. I started getting hammered around like 8 o'clock. Watch wrestling, play some video games. And then Impact was ahead, pre-taped. So I'm tweeting at all these wrestlers, and I'm tweeting at Karrion Kross, and he's responding back to me. And all these wrestlers, and like I'm tweeting about their match, and I understood how to play the game. And then he's tweeting things back at me, and it's this weird relationship. And all these wrestlers, a bunch of wrestlers understood it. And it was awesome. So, there you go. So I believe that like what you're telling me is exactly the type of person he is.
Yeah,
because that match actually came on backs.
So outside of the finish with Cena in that match, what was the moment that you disliked the most about WrestleMania weekend?
I hated Charlotte Flair versus Tiffy. I hated the match.
Are we talking all WrestleMania weekend? Like,
yeah, you go.
on
That
Hall
was
of Fame was fucking terrible.
I didn't even watch it.
When did Michelle McCool get emaciated somehow? Like, one girl's stomach was going inside her body. Like, what the fuck happened to her? And like, just, I mean, that was a terrible Hall of Fame. Like, I was sitting there watching that. I mean, at least they got Triple H up there, at least. But man, the whole weekend was like lacking something. Like the first night, every night had a couple of good matches. Jey Uso winning was good. I
mean, don't get me wrong. I made a lot of money with Jey Uso winning and Tiffy winning. Made a lot of money because I'm a card collector, and Topps is buying back their cards. And when you have some valuable Jey Uso cards, you're looking at $100-$200 a pop for store credit in a store. It's helpful that we're pulled. So I mean, I'm going to be bringing in like $600-$700 worth of cards to a card store because Uso and Tiffy won. But again, I hated that Charlotte Flair Tiffany match. There was nothing there in that match.
Yeah, that match felt rough.
It felt like a softcore porno. Like, it felt like soft porn, to be quite
honest.
That's
why it's my favorite match. No, I'm joking.
But here's the thing too, that you don't hear people talking much about. You have two matches in a row. I understand Rey Fenix, who kind of got thrown at the last minute. You got Rey Fenix and you've got Americano dressed in almost the same outfit. You go into the Tiffany Charlotte match. And their outfits are almost identical, down to the garters, down to there was times that they would get into a lockup and they'd be spinning around and I'd forget which one of them was which. And I'm like, who at WrestleMania levels is going to be like, let's have the face and the heel both dressed exactly the same? I mean, that's like wrestling 101 to at least make them look a little different, and you have it on two back-to-back matches.
I didn't have a problem with the Americano match and them looking I didn't care one way or the other because how
long are we gonna drag that Americano Grande bullshit out? That's it's like
I think let's get done with it. I think we're dragging that up so he can go wrestle in AAA as part of the partnership. I think that's the only reason why.
Oh shit! That's a good call. I completely forgot about that shit.
I thought it was funny, and I was like, okay, cool. And I thought it was a mockery because we all know the story, right? I mean, I don't want to ruin how the sausage is made, but if you didn't get what was going on with the whole thing and the promo they were building, that's how I took it. So I give that match a pass on how they're dressed. The Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton and them looking both like Barbies. I mean, I'm like, and there's nothing wrong with looking like a Barbie. I have no problem with that. But one of them should have came out as Dark Phoenix. Charlotte Flair, at least Dark Phoenix. It would have been so much better.
Can I ask a question, y'all, real quick? Like, what? Was there like when they first started out the Diva shit? It was all TNA, right? All tits and ass nonstop. Then we went through a period where everything was kind of like shorts and leggings and stuff. Like everything was covered up. And we got back to, I mean, there was a lot of ass during WrestleMania. I mean, even tonight, Tiffany Stratton and who else was in there? Tiffany Stratton, and somebody else. Like tonight, they were just in the thing together doing. I was like, there's nothing but ass up in that thing right now. Like, it's
I will say,
Jade Cargill came watch. I was like, I think I might. This is like kind of a porno. I think I'm not.
Stephanie Vaquer. As much as I love Stephanie Vaquer and think she's one of the best wrestlers out there right now, she definitely has got a lot of that going on.
Like, I mean, even like Liv Morgan and stuff. I mean, I understand she's a beautiful woman, but I mean, even her shorts, there's some butt cheeks come out. I feel like I don't know. And I also feel like they're like every fat girl, they're accentuating the shit out of them being fat. Like they don't put those they're like, let's put on the skinniest skin tight thing ever on that poor lady. Let's make them sit on people. That's fucked up, man. We lost your homie, dude. He's like, I'm done with this fucking shit.
He's probably doing something. It's fine.
No. I'm joking, man.
Again. My position is that I just thought it looked like porn, right? Like that's that match. And I'm with three of my friends from high school and watching Mania, and we're all adults, but we're like, this is kind of stupid, right? Because there was like some sexual moves in there, and I was just like, you know what? It didn't do it for me, man. It just didn't do it for me. Like,
I'm not. Since we're alone, I'm not gonna lie. Since it's just me and you here, and nobody else is watching the fucking stream right now. When Rhea Ripley, like fucking like crumbled Bianca Belair up and like it looked like Rhea Ripley was like having her way with Bianca Belair. I got a little. There was a little chub going on, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
like,
fine. I don't judge.
I was like, Jesus, guys, come on, WWE. What are you doing to me, bro?
That's the thing, though, right? That's the thing, right? To me, I don't have a problem with that, right? Because that wasn't the whole fucking match. Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton was that. It was legitly two blonde girls fighting, and it was like a cat fight with really no stakes. And I'm like, what the fuck did I watch? And honestly, I'm enjoying Tiffany Stratton's run to some degree. You know, I think it's fun. You know, I think Charlotte Flair doesn't. I think Charlotte Flair is one of the most technical wrestlers in women's wrestling ever. I really think she's that good. She just sucks on story right now.
I think she was that good. It's just, you know, I mean, she's having a lot of bad press. She needs to not be surprised to be a heel. She's a heel. Like, quit being surprised that you're a heel and that everybody's saying. Well,
what did Chris say last week, Keenan? Right? Chris said it's almost like Charlotte Flair walked back into WWE after 18 months and was handed a title shot.
Yeah.
And then Bailey's not on the card.
John Cena was too, kind of. I mean, he pretty much just said, "Yeah, I'm here, not we paint it how we want to," because he sold the Rock. But
I agree with you, but the difference is that John Cena could run with the ball. Charlotte Flair did not run with the ball. If you're going to be handed a shot, you got to be ready.
Are we comparing the work of these two people? Because I think one of John Cena's main things is that he can't fucking wrestle. I mean, I'm just saying. Like, if we're comparing work, I think
if we're comparing Charlotte Flair to John Cena, I mean that's like comparing apples to oranges. By definition, everything John Cena has done.
Yes.
I mean, I agree that we can make the argument right now John Cena can't wrestle, but John Cena can walk into a room and he's got the cred and he can become a heel and he could run with it. Charlotte Flair did not run with the ball, and that's on her.
Because that is on her. She didn't run with it because she was too like, oh, everybody's booing me. I'm not like, okay, Charlotte, calm the fuck. She should have went out there in all black saying, fuck all y'all. I am the best ever. I am Ric Flair's daughter. Forget his 17 titles that he wants. I am the man. Forget Becky Lynch. Forget everybody else. It's me. But she came out there like, why don't y'all like me? I am a nepo.
She picked the wrong
blah,
promo.
blah, blah.
There was a promo between John Cena and AJ Styles, and John Cena came out and said, I'm getting a title shot because I'm John Cena. And that was the end of the discussion. And he said, I've been doing this forever. I have 16 titles or I have 15 titles, and I'm getting a title shot because I'm John Cena. And that's it. And that was the end of the discussion, and they ran with it. And this was like 5-6 years ago? And guess what? It worked because he just stated it, and then they moved on, and it was incorporated. Charlotte Flair, she was handed it. She should have said, I'm Charlotte Flair, and I have this many titles, and you're damn right I'm fucking taking that title at WrestleMania.
I think she did, dude. I might be mistaken.
But she didn't believe it. That's the problem. It was a bad match. It was a bad match.
It wasn't a good match. But I'm just saying, I think she did say but she did also legitimately win the Royal Rumble. She could pick whoever she wanted. I mean, I agree she was given the title. They gave her the win, but I mean,
I'm sorry.
Fashion or whatever it is.
Don't be sorry. You're right. I'm sorry, Keenan. I'm sorry. She had no defense like this.
I agree with you. I'm
sorry, man. I couldn't help it. I
agree with you. I just don't think that we should be. I just wondering why you're just like so all about John Cena. I'm like, Charlotte Flair is like the girl version of John Cena.
I'm sorry. There's no defense. There's no defense here.
Dude, you're killing me with these cards, bro. You're killing me. From now, I'm saying it right now. Next show, every time you bring up
Keenan, I'll explain the joke. For those who don't get the joke, Cleveland is playing Miami tomorrow at 1:00. That's the joke, and that's a Cleveland Defensive Player of the Year.
I got that.
Hey,
I'm just glad that the Heat made the playoffs, man. I'm just glad they made the playoffs.
I
was not expecting them to be there. I was not expecting them to be there.
Pee Wee Herman, word of the day next week, and I will take a shot every time you mention cards in any form or fashion. Just so you know.
See, that's terrible.
You better have an ambulance on standby, man.
Let's see if Mecca can, because I won't say it next week. I'll just like every time he mentions a card, I'll be like, all right, well, I guess I'm getting drunk now.
You better have yourself an ambulance on standby, man, because I do not think you're going to be able to make it through the night.
Luckily, I could just roll right to my bed. My bathroom's right there. I mean, I think we're good. I'm gonna fall asleep on my belly to where I don't struggle my stuff. We're good. Just don't talk about your cards too much.
This is so bad.
The first time I did it,
what was your least favorite moment?
Oh, go ahead, Matt.
No, that was Becca. I was just laughing.
Oh no, I was asking what was your least favorite moment in WrestleMania?
Oh, what was my least favorite moment? I didn't like. I felt like it seemed really odd to put Rey Fenix in a throwaway match at the last minute. I mean, yeah, they found a way to get Rey Fenix on the card. Rey Fenix is able to. He's probably the most technical wrestler in WWE right now. And I'm like, you just brought him in and you're going to have him just lose in a squash match. It just felt kind of weird to have them do that. I wasn't a big fan of that.
He makes his brother look bad. He's a better wrestler than like the fact that they brought in his brother first and then like it's just kind of like, oh, damn, why don't we just wait to bring them out together or bring like the Lucha Brothers at the same time? Because he's a much better, at least performer and wrestling wise. He seems better.
Yeah, he's a better wrestler. Penta is definitely a better personality, like with his, with the way his aura is. But yeah, Phoenix definitely. I'm glad they have them on two different shows right now to build themselves up individually. So that way, when they do come together as Lucha Bros, they've already established themselves.
I like that. We'll see what happens.
No. I mean, this is. I mean, again. I like the card. I like the whole thing, but I'm also an odd one. And but yeah. But I mean, what happens next with all this stuff? Because I have a unique prediction, and my prediction is not the norm. I think Cena is going to walk away with the belt. I don't think WWE has a plan to take it off of him. I don't, because I don't think they know how to, and I think that I just don't see it. I don't see him. I see him on the last Monday Night Raw of the year or whatever he wants to say. I'm my last date. I think he's going to leave the belt in the ring, his boots in the ring, and then he's just going to leave. Or he might not even leave the belt in the ring. He'll just leave his boots in the ring and he'll just walk up the ramp in a dramatic way, and that's how I think this ends.
Real quick, so the game's going to let John Cena walk out of his company with the belt that he literally held on his body. He's going to say, oh, well, fuck it. We'll just make another title. Not a big deal. I think Cena's going to be an intermediate champion. He's supposed to fight Orton next in Backlash. I think he was just an intermediate champion to bridge the gap between two baby faces. You don't want to see Orton take the belt from Cody Rhodes.
I don't think Orton's going to win it. I think they're going to have heel Cena go probably through maybe SummerSlam, maybe to Survivor Series. And I think that it's going to be a big, whether it's Cody, whether it's somebody else, you're going to have the face with the long chase to get to him. I do think that when Cena leaves, he's going to leave back as a face again. I think that he's going to make sure that he leaves as a face. Maybe there's a plan for betrayal to get him back on the face side, because from his career, he needs to be a face for his post-wrestling career. So I think that that's more likely what's going to happen with him. I definitely don't think he's going to go all the way, but that is an interesting thought there.
He doesn't want to make Mecca sad either. He doesn't want to see Mecca cry over. No.
I will cry. I will cry when he retires. I will cry. It will be sad. It will be sad because it's 25 years, right? I mean, there are people who have grown up watching John Cena. It's not going to be a fun day when he is done.
Wrestling's been going on for we've watched so many wrestlers retire and do so many last matches.
I agree.
I just don't think. And I mean,
think he's
Cena's.
done for real.
I just can't see anybody other than you really like shedding a tear for Mr. John. Yeah, and we're still gonna see him every fucking week on a movie.
Way to kill the buzz. Like,
I know. I'm killing
way to
the
ruin
buzz.
it for me.
I am ruining it.
I don't ruin things for you. Why would you
Yes,
do
you
that?
do.
That's
You
terrible.
You didn't say I digress for a fucking entire like time. I make the thing I digress, and you sit there the entire time not saying I digress. That's what you get.
Oh, so this is payback. I see.
Well, yeah, you're gonna like literally. I make the word of the day. I digress. He says I digress like 55 times a podcast. This week he doesn't even say it once. Then the next week it's like the first fucking word he says.
You know what I think I'm gonna do now? I think I'm gonna go celebrate Purim and get myself a Heyman.
Well, I digress.
That's a good joke.
I digress. I do like the Heyman. I hope they're building a new dangerous alliance. I do like, I think Braun Breaker's coming. I like all that. I think that's a good.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Who else is going to be involved in that? I think that's going to be great.
I'm very glad we don't have to hear Seth Rollins talk too much anymore. Hopefully Paul Heyman shuts him the fuck up.
Thank God.
Like, I mean, no fan like Seth Rollins and everything, but it's just like, I am a visionary. I am an execution. Shut the fuck up, dude. It's like Roman Reigns with that acknowledge me shit. Like, yeah, you're there, bro. We know you're there. Calm down, dude. Just calm down.
What is Paul Heyman called now? Is he still a wise man, or is he an advisor?
They called him the wise man on Monday night.
Yeah, he's still the wise man.
Accompanied by the wise. I don't think he was a wise man because he was a part of the whatever. What was it? Like, I just forgot. Bloodline. I don't think he was called the wise man because he was in their group. He was called the wise man because of all his fucking knowledge. I mean, that's what they called Vince before his whole shitting on people thing did. So.
Oh my God! Just I can't deal with Vince stories. I just can't. I'm sorry.
Well, I did want to ask that question. Like, now that, like, when you brought that up, like, because he did like bury. Why did he bury like such good, like, pretty boy looking wrestlers? Like, you like that guy's not. I'm not gonna let that guy get across. No. All the pussy has to be like. Why did he do that to somebody that's obviously you could? How are you gonna fuck up Karrion Kross? Like, that's pretty. Like, it was almost like the blueprint was written out. It's like if you mess up a comic book movie, the comic book is your storyboard. Put that on the screen. There you go. Same thing with some of these wrestlers. I mean, he messed up. That's a Farouk. Who puts Farouk? Even the name Farouk. Even the fact that I called him Farouk. Like, why do you do that to like such good people and good wrestlers?
Saba Simba, the Gobbledygooker, Isaac Yankum. I mean, come on now. There's a litany of Duke the Dumpster Drosy, a litany of people with bad gimmicks.
Even the fact that some of these people with bad gimmicks could do Doink the Clown. Whoever would think that Doink the Clown would have done anything? But when given to that guy, it was a good character. Anybody else, Doink the Clown too, fucking sucked. But why did he do that to such like he like ruined? Like he enjoyed. You think that was like a master? I don't want to like get sexual, but like I hate like he enjoyed it. Like fucked his life up.
I think that there might have been some of that stuff.
I'm gonna go home with my wife and think about how I fucked up people's lives. It's fucked up, man.
You never know, man.
Oh man. I don't know. It's whatever. I mean, again, wrestling is so political. I don't mean.
Well, it doesn't seem too political anymore now that we got the weird fucking dude. I do like that they brought up Vince a couple times. Triple H brought up Vince in his damn speech. He's like, yeah, it's a tough thing, but if it wasn't for him, I have everything because of him. I have my job, my family, my wife, my kids, blah blah blah.
Didn't John Cena also say that I still like Vince? I think during WrestleMania week. It's something, or like in a tweet or in an interview, he said it just recently. So like, there's been a bunch of stuff that's come out, and I don't know, but
who would you place more money on being in the Vince circle of shame? Triple H, who was with his daughter, or John Cena, who owes everything to Vince? I think it was John Cena probably like doing some dirty with Vince. You're not going to let your son-in-law, like, you got to go home to my daughter. You're not going to do that shit. No.
I don't know, though, in which that, I mean, I could tell you who I think is the dirtiest of them all. I think it's Stephanie McMahon. I think Stephanie knows where the bodies are buried.
That just makes it more hot to me, dude. Like, yeah, she probably does know where the bodies are buried. She probably knows to shut the fuck up. She's an old school. She's the old school, like, mafia type boss. She's gonna shut up, let her man do the business, but she's really back there. You really think the game is like, he's a good creative, but she's probably still back there being the boss. But you gotta have, it's just like when I was a chef, I'd be the only white dude at the table. I'd be like the lowest man on the totem pole, but the people with all the deliveries would come right to me, and everybody else in the kitchen would be like, why are you going to that white dude? He does not know anything. Come talk to me. That's probably what she says. Like, no, he doesn't really do anything. I love him. He's a pretty face, but let's get this figured out, guys. I don't know.
I think that's a clickbait question.
I'm trying to do anything I can for our podcast, dude.
I believe that is a clickbait question. That was a great press conference.
It was a good press. I think they've handled. I think probably the extra stuff that was handled in the entire week was probably some of the best stuff. Like John Cena come out and like, I'm not answering shit. I'm out. Peace. And then he said something. I'm not gonna answer y'all's clickbait questions. And then Triple H comes out and some little kid asks the question. He's like, that sounds like a clickbait question. And then that's a good guy.
My favorite thing that John Cena said the whole weekend was, as the last real champion, my job is to form better relationships with the media. And I thought that was hysterical. Because then he says, I'm not going to. And then he says to ESPN, that's a reputable news source. I thought that was pretty funny, too.
Or he keeps bringing up, like, that is not a good relationship. I don't know if you ever saw that Bella Twins reality show with him. He wasn't a great partner either. Like, he talks about good relationships. Like, bitch, she just wanted to, like, do everything you ever wanted, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think she even said, like, I'm even cool with not having kids with your bitch ass. Like, I'm cool with everything. Whatever you want, John, but no, you're just not that good enough. No. But yeah, it's not a good relationship, anything with John Cena, except for him and Mecca. Him and Mecca have like been in love for years. Show your card, Mecca, since you put up the card for basketball, Heat, and I don't know. If it's not the Mavericks, I'm not trying to hear about it. How does it feel that we were like we beat the shit out of you that first year? I'm just saying. Talking to a fan of the Heat, I just have to like bring that up. Like that first beating that we gave y'all, that was like we were the first like no-name team to be like the superpower team. I'm just saying.
I'm just gonna smile.
Well, you don't know anything about this. All you talk about is WNBA stuff, Mecca. I can't. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I make money with it. What do you want me to do? Be poor?
No, we want to hear about you making money off the backs of young women. Go ahead, Mecca. Just tell us how much money you make off the hard work of young women of America. Go ahead, Mecca. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go keep those to myself. Thank you very much. Except.
How else is a woman gonna make money if not on her back? But all right, let's call it into the show before I get myself in more trouble, because that one shot's got me at the perfect level where I'll just say anything. I'm not drunk, but I'm like buzzed. We're like, fuck it, let's just say whatever.
Why do you think I stopped drinking on podcasts? It's rare that I get intoxicated on a podcast.
Dude, I think you got intoxicated on the podcast last week. I think people were literally in the comments saying, "Yo, is Mecca drunk?"
See, but I don't.
Because they were wondering, like, how come he's drunk?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't drinking last week. That's the crazy part.
Maybe you just act drunk, bro.
Last week.
Maybe you just act drunk, or maybe our fans just perceive you as drunk. I don't know, dude.
The week before, I was intoxicated completely. The week before,
all right,
without a doubt.
We're coming up on 58 minutes of the podcast. Any last thoughts before I got to get out of here, guys? I gotta go
to sleep too. But obviously, I don't know.
Say hello to John Cena in your dreams, Mecca.
So I do want to give Matt though a chance to promote himself before you and me promote ourselves. So where can people find you, Matt? All that fun stuff.
Well, definitely appreciate you guys having me on. As Mecca knows, I'm a comic creator, content creator. Just finished up our Heirs of Isildur, the Perilous Prospects 4 campaign. Just got it all shipped out today. You can still late pledge to Misfits Clubhouse, all the shenanigans so far at tinyurl.com/mclubhouse. But we have a new title that's going to be out on May 20th on Kickstarter. We're super stoked about Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress #1. I think Pirates of the Caribbean and One Piece mixed with your favorite martial arts heroine. You can go to Tatsumi, TATSUMITSM for Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress at Tiny Earl. And that's, you can go find that campaign, go follow it. We can't wait to have you guys be a part of that. And if you want to see more about what we do at InSymmetry Creations, go to linktree.com/InSymmetry, INSYMMETRY Creations. And that's where you can find everything we do, the titles, the articles, the metal music, all that fun stuff.
Metal music, nice. I like
Heck
that.
yeah, man.
Good. There you go. As you see, I'm Fred Durst. I know all the metal music stuff, dude.
Fred Durst, where can they find you at, sir?
Like Mecca said, everybody knows me already. As my introduction was stated, no need to acknowledge me at all. I'm everywhere. Everybody knows me. Now, they can find me. The Linktree information is in the description. A lot of the master debaters always coming through, so we appreciate y'all. Remember, if y'all got wrestling questions, put them in the comments. We'll try to reach out to you and say some. Don't talk about Mecca's homosexual fantasies about John Cena. He doesn't want to hear that shit. He doesn't need to hear that stuff. But yeah, other than that, super chat, super like, super love me. We'll see y'all next week. Go ahead, Mecca. What you got going on?
And then obviously I am all over the place. I am Pop Anime Comics on Twitter, Pop Anime Comics on YouTube, Pop Anime Comics on Instagram, Pop Anime Comics on Facebook. And then I do run a little eBay store, and I do have a graphic for it. So here you can go find me, look for comics and collectibles, come shop with us on eBay. And I do want to let people know that I do have this card actually in my eBay store. There's a 101 of Evan Mobley, who was just named Defensive Player of the Year. And I do have some NFL draft stuff in my store right now. I have a lot of WNBA stuff in my store, and I am bringing in a lot of really, really cool stuff coming out there. And depending on what happens, I do bring in a lot of cool stuff relating to sports in my eBay store. I do sell a lot of comics as well. So if you're looking for cool collectibles, I got that stuff. And I pull 5/5s, I pull 101s, and I got some other cool stuff in there. So again, if you're just looking for expensive stuff, that's what it is. And I cover basketball, football, WWE, all that stuff. So definitely it is Pop Anime Comics Collectibles. If you type in Pop Anime Comics, I'm going to show up. So just
that'd be the best way to start this thing. Like, hey, Pop Anime Comics everywhere.
And nowhere.
Hey, is WNBA considered a sport? I didn't know that. When do we start considering women's athletics a sport?
After Michael Che proved that it wasn't an AI error by Sports Illustrated.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I don't know what's going on here. No, I'm just fucking with you.
That was an SNL joke, Keenan. You should know that.
I know. I got that. That's why I was trying to act like I don't know what you're talking about.
Do I need to get you an apron?
I know jokes. Did you hear how many times I had this guy? How many times did you laugh at Mecca today? Not that many. It was all me, Mecca. It was my content that's making him fucking laugh. That's what I do, Mecca. I know jokes. When you look like this, you got to be funny, Mecca. Jesus Christ.
So, yeah, that's everything that I got. That's everything that I got. Again, Pop Anime Comics is all my shit. And, so that's everything I got. And I believe that's a wrap. I would just like to say, obviously, thank you to Matt for showing up. We always appreciate it.
Absolutely, for sure.
And,
thank you, Matt. We appreciate it. We give you your flowers, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you for the flowers. I appreciate it so much.
That makes me feel lame when I said, let me get my flowers. It just feels fucking lame. Like, I don't even know why I said that. Like, you ever say something like you regret it immediately? Like, no.
Hey, it's all good, man. It's all good, man. I'll hand you your flowers back if you feel weird giving them to me. Here's the flowers back, my man.
Why are they all dead now, Matt? What happened to them?
I farted on them. My bad.
Mecca, you picked the worst people, dude. All right, man. Let's get out of here.
Well, I don't think you could have ended any better than that, everybody. And that is a wrap.